friends, how are you? Liz Montigny here with Liz Montigny Coaching. Each week I pop on Wednesday afternoon around this time, 3 o'clock, and give you some strategies for the wheel of life. I am a licensed Ziglar Choose to Win coach. This means I am your personal coach. I am a life coach, and I help you go from daily chaos to simplicity so you can love life. I know a lot of you out there would really like to be proactive in your choices rather than reactive and constantly feel like you're pulled in 100 different directions. So that's something I can help you with. And if you want to know more about the Wheel of Life assessment, it's a fun quiz that I have on my website. You can go there and check it out under the downloads page. But basically, I come on each week and just dive in a little deeper to some strategies for these 7 choices in your life: the mental, the spiritual, and physical. Those are like your foundation. Those are the things that you want to get right and have good habits in, so that you can have the energy to be, do, and have all the things that you want. And then we've got the family, financial, personal, and career spokes. And those are, what you're putting out into the world and how you can help others. So the personal spoke is actually something that we work on a little bit later in my coaching sessions, but it's because you have to have that foundation laid down first. So what is that? What do I mean by that? Is it self-care? Sure, that's a piece of it. I think self-care is anything from good skincare to going and have a coffee by yourself, or in my case, tea, or any kind of alone time or reading or whatever that may be, right? But it means you're choosing to use your time and energy wisely. Taking this personal time gives you the creative energy that we need, right? It gives you the energy you need to excel in everything you choose to be and do, right? I mean, how many times are we going, and then we get burned out because we didn't rest or take a break or take that weekend off or whatever it may be. So here's just a couple thoughts on that personal time. I know a lot of people that I'm friends with here on social media. A lot of us have our own businesses. So a lot of the time that personal and career spokes get a little blended because we love what we do. And, so it holds over to all parts of our life. And so when I was looking at some of the personal things that I want to make sure I do, a lot of it was leaning toward the career side of things, and I realized I needed to separate that a little bit. I also know a lot of you on here are like me. You have children. I homeschool 3 boys, so we do school in the morning and then I work in the afternoon or in the evening. So there's a lot of things to balance and juggle, and how do you do that effectively without burning yourself out? So if that's you, I'd love to drop a note and say hello, or if you're catching a replay, do that too. But so I'm going to go over a couple tips for you on blocking for personal time instead of complaining about it, right? I mean, it's so easy to go into that mode because so many of us can relate, and I get it. So first things first, blocking the time. Like I said, I actually block time on my calendar. Some people call it white space. But for example, Sundays, I don't post on social media. I might read a message or something, but I'm not actively on there. It feels really good. Hard to do at first, but it feels amazing once you get into the habit of it. So Sundays, I really try to unplug from that, and it's great. So right there, you're being in the present moment with your family, and you're not scrolling through everything. So that may be something you want to explore. It doesn't have to be Sunday, but for me, that's the day that works. Okay. Another thing you may want to think about is, we always think about, especially us who are entrepreneurs, income producing activities. What about a purpose producing activity? Okay. So are you taking time to, re-energize yourself so that you can show up and be your best self for your family or your clients? Is there a hobby that you have that you haven't explored in a while, just because you're like, I can't stop? Well, eventually you're going to stop because your body is going to make you stop. So maybe there's a hobby you can explore that you haven't done in a while, and maybe you need to set aside time for that. Because stopping and taking the time to re-energize and refuel is only going to make you better at everything you do, including your career and relationships. And, it's really not, how do I want to say this? It's a responsibility, right? It's not a right to have personal time. It's a responsibility. And with responsibility, that means you have to make the time for it, and you have to treat it as building a good habit. So I really encourage you to do that. Another thing is not being afraid to, if God is putting something on your heart to do, not be afraid to lean into that. There's a reason for that. There's probably because you have a special talent or unique talent in that area, or maybe there's somebody in your life who's offering. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go there. And usually with that personal time, we're also creating community, right? Because sometimes personal time means we are, in our church community or school community or whatever it may be. And there's so many people you can influence in that area as well. So don't be afraid to block the time, okay? And really consider those times in your life when time flew by, right? What were you doing? Are you still doing it now? Maybe you need to add a little bit of that back into your life. Now, if you're one of those people who's been constantly go, 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 and you're really not sure where this is going to go in your life, a little tip that I read and that I've shared before, there's a book called Everything is Figureoutable by Marie Forleo, and she had a really simple exercise toward the beginning of that book of just taking a piece of paper, writing out your day, everything from scrolling to social media to laundry, okay? And then taking a really hard look at where you can delete things, cut down the time on, ask for help on, right? Isn't that so hard to ask for help? Delegate, those kinds of things. And then I think you will find some places where you can work in this intentional personal time, whether it's rest or whether, it's a workout or whether you're reading, whatever it may be, or that hobby that you haven't done in a while. So again, blocking the time, making the time, getting help if you need it. Don't be afraid to ask for it. And see what you can do in the next week with this. I challenge you to take a look at that with my clients. I always ask them, I always give them homework and say, hey, what are you going to do in the next week towards what we talked about? And they make a committed intention that they're going to do. They said they were going to do to help them get them closer to what they want in life and to live into their purpose. So if you are having trouble with this and you'd like to dive a little further into it, you always reach out to me at this website, or I'm on all the socials as Liz Montigny Coaching, and you can message me there as well. So let me know what you're going to be up to for the next week for your personal time. What's that action you're going to take, and what are you going to do for personal time? I'd love to hear. All right. So that's what I have for you, short and sweet, this week. Next week, I may be on at a different time because I'm actually going to be interviewed by Tom Ziglar, and he is the one that wrote Choose to Win. He is Zig Ziglar's son, and the Ziglar team is who has trained me in the foundation of my life coaching practice. So I'm super excited about that. So I'll let you know when that happens. All right, you have a great rest of your week, and I can't wait to hear what that personal homework is going to be for you over the next week. All right, take care. Bye.